Hey, 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 Laura J. wearing my best is yet to come shirt today. And I want to say that I was doing some journaling earlier and I wanted to share with you the concept of the hegemonic priesthood that is based on a hegemony, which is actually the dominant culture. And if you break the word culture down, it's the cult you are part of. And so the hegemonic priesthood presently is essentially a death cult because it is corporately oriented. And if you break corporation down, you get the corpse orating through the vessels that we are to do the bidings of the crown or corpse or whatever it is outside of us that then demands we trust it over ourselves. And the cells that we live within the bodies that we inhabit and must be the guards within the energy den of us for. The Eden, the energy den, that is what we are the guards in. The mythical story written in a book of allegory says all ego rye because the rye is how we separate the wheat from the shafts, or however you pronounce it. I am not perfect by any means, but I know that an imperfect usufruct actually is where we can use someone else's property, we can profit off of the use of someone else's property, and we can even abuse someone else's property because as the vassal, which is the holder of title that the hegemonic priesthood have, hence it being the priest and then the hood that caps the consciousness of how far we could go, simply because someone else said, no, this is the edge that you are able to get to because we know the ledge. Knowledge, we say this is as far as you can go because that was as far as the founding fathers went, and clearly they were better than you, so naturally you must do what it takes to only go so far as what they said you could. Okay? No, I don't play that way. I believe that we each came here to express our potential in a way that never has been done before. And it's okay to fall. It's okay to trip. It is okay to not actually get across the Grand Canyon in one flying leap. Yet, I do believe that we must try without dropping a knee to be knighted by some man that claims to be a king who then is the vassal over our house. This is the house that I live in, even though this is the one that others would think is where I dwell. Sure, all is well where I dwell. But here is where I live always, even when not in the house I call a home, because the man I love lives here. And the woman I loved while she lived here also, and built this home that I have got to live under, the roof of, and am grateful for. And yet the ISAs of ideological state apparatuses say that the family is the nuclear war we were never warned about. Because in the scheme of things, these ISAs are religion, politics, government, this is sports, social media, all of the influencing mechanisms that within Maslow's hierarchy of need keep us at the level of belonging, safety, and survival instead of that which comes after, which is respect and self-actualization. Abraham Maslow was a man that left a theory for us to understand, and when we stand under anything, then that is as far as we can go because the peak said, that's the edge. Now you must go only to that point because self-actualization is the utmost, is it not? Well, what if beyond self-actualization we had us realized? What if we went beyond the self in order to get back to actually being in this together as we are, where the best is yet to come? come because we drew from the unlimited, unwritten, and uncapitalized, unspecified version of that which exists because we commonly are aware that a death cult kills life or drains life of its essence in the name of material things that make us feel safe, but only become the safety blanket. That when the white man originally came to these lands and then handed over blankets filled with smallpox in order to infect those originals, the natives that were already here, that was the way that we revere that safety blanket because it keeps us warm. The comfort zone is what we need to have shorn, just like the sheep with their wool. Dream fleecing is what we have been fleeced of. We don't have the wool on our skin because that's not the way we begin. Sure, if you shave an area, it comes in thicker, as I have learned through growing up and being told, don't do that, and did, and then found that that was not in my best interest, but it was already too late because I'd already done it. And once we do, we can't undo it. Once we see, we cannot unsee it. And this is the problem with awakening. But then we have to see that awakening is actually reflective of the ripple effect that each one of us have when we actually dare to do the seemingly impossible by putting an apostrophe where the I am was, to make I'm possible out of what was impossible because someone else said, no, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? Well, I am me, and you are you, but in your story, you can say what only I can in mine, because your story is yours, and my story is mine, but our story shared is ours. His story, I don't know who he is, and I quite frankly don't think he has my best interest at heart nor yours. So, as we go back to the fact that the hegemonic priesthood is a dominant culture that has officials and praetors, which were the regulators of Roman days, that then came forward to become the predator of the corporate realms. This is where I say we must take charge of the helm, not control. For the calm of consciousness and the troll of gaming that we do when sport fishing, or online when we are fishing for someone's team, their time, energy, effort, attention, and money that it would seem we might steal in a capped reality, because if supply and demand is what all things are based on in a corporate realm, well, you can only pull from what exists already. Until then, you step into an out-of-the-box, unlimited reality of potential, which is above self-actualization. It is above the hegemonic priesthood. It is above those things which would cap us because we allowed our consciousness to be limited by what someone else has been able to do up until now. But you can do more if you believe in you. If you believe in what is expressly in your heart, you can actually bring that forward. And the graveyard no longer needs to be the richest place in the world, for it is where the dreams of all of those who lived and left, the form they dwelled in while incarnated. Incarnation? Who's the car? Well, the body is. So, when we're in incarnation, or indoctrination, which is where the doctors have the titles, and then they're said to be the pros, so that we know we can't go beyond what they say. Well, Dr. Bieber personally guaranteed me I would fail to self-regulate when I told him that was what I was going to do upon release from being a captive under the Mental Health Act in 2019, actually. And he was wrong, and I was right, because I stood by and I dared to fight, to be myself authentically and fully in a way that he could not have possibly imagined, because he's not me, and I not he. He got capped when he learned the ways of his profession. I did not, because there is no profession. Where I'm talking about, human potential is unlimited. How do you make human potential a profession except through coaching, which I got certified in back in 2011, and did not begin a coaching practice expressly because somehow there was a part of me that thought, I don't like converting someone that wants to learn from me or connect with me. I don't want to convert them into a client, because ultimately then they're limited and capped in the relationship and the capacity that we can have as a relationship to be able to see that we're on the ship of relations. And it's all about relatability and relativity, is it not? We're told. So that might sound familiar of the old way. Yet, I say, we create a new one at 11:11, which is all about new beginnings. So I don't have all the answers. I don't know expressly what that looks like. But I know that within you, there is a key I don't have, because you're the one that's holding it. And if we're not connected, or if we're going to create separation between us, because then I'm the pro and you're the one that has to listen to me or turn to me to bounce ideas off of in order to feel like you can then heal and move forward in your life, sure, there's a time and a place for that. But I just want to say that I don't believe it's in our best interest to keep playing the way we always have, to get more of what we've always got, when the death cult requires us create these illusions of separation, to have us then pay with our lives for denying what is in our hearts because no one else thought that it was possible. Well, I say, let's put the apostrophe in I'm possible, to make it that instead of impossible. And the how is in the head. The heart is the homestead, with a hearth to keep us warm, which is why the pros require those to fan their flame in order to keep it growing. For the hearth and the fire within us requires that air, where we are then deemed heirs with an H of dominion over lands that have been capitalized, because the heirs, H-I-E-R-S, have been capitalized too. We are the heirs of this place, yet land, air, water, and space cannot be claimed unless capitalized and specified and then limited by that specification. So, yeah, this is out of the box. Crazy. Yet, if we don't dare to share that which is in our heart, to care for one another enough to share, well, what's left? What exists? Where's the potential in that? So, it's the end of my rift. I hope you've got my drift, and I'd love to know what this message means to you, for you, and most importantly, what you're going to do with that which you heard today, lest we be part of a herd going to a slaughterhouse we need not go to. Thanks.